Hello everyone, this is Colin once again. I'm making another video in response to AhmadasQuran3, and the video of his is titled Muhammad's Anti-Semitism Part 175. Now, I'm making this response because, granted, it's an accusation to charge a historical figure with anti-Semitism without actually backing it up. And I have to give him some credit. He usually will provide some sort of sources to his video. But I have to say that this is probably the one video where he just goes on a huge tirade and doesn't really use any resources at all. He doesn't quote any Quranic verses, doesn't quote any hadith specifically. He just uses generalized statements and ad hominems to attack the character of the Prophet Muhammad, which I have to say makes his argument very weak in the first place. In fact, I think the only reference he used, because I really doubt, and AhmadasQuran3, please respond to this video if you actually have this, because I really don't know. I mean, you don't even have to respond to the whole video, just as a comment, if you will. I highly doubt you're using the Encyclopedia Britannica when you were giving this definition, or, for example, Bernard Lewis's Semites and Anti-Semites, when you gave this this quotation about what does anti-Semitism mean. You probably got this from Wikipedia. And I gave the link in the description area because I find it really funny that you use Wikipedia. Because word for word, I actually Googled what you said, and word for word, this is the first thing that popped up. You said anti-Semitism is the prejudice against or hostility towards Jews as a group. The prejudice or hostility is usually characterized by a combination of religious, racial, cultural, and ethnic bases. And then you stopped there. So then continuing on, it says, while this term etymology might suggest the anti-Semitism is directed against all Semitic peoples since its creation, it has been used exclusively to refer to hostilities towards Jews. Now, what's funny is, let's read the rest of the Wikipedia article, because I'm sure this is what you used. It says, anti-Semitism may be manifested in many ways, etc., etc., but it says, extreme instances of persecution include the German Crusades of 1096, the expulsion from England in 1290, the Spanish Inquisition, the expulsion from Spain, 1492. The expulsion from Portugal, 1497. And the most infamous, the Holocaust under Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany. What's missing from that list on the Wikipedia article which you used? Oh, Muhammad. Oh, what do you know? It's kind of funny, isn't it? But let's continue on, because you shot yourself in the foot in this video, and I find it kind of funny that I hope your viewers pick up on this, even though I kind of doubt it since they think your word is gold. It says, you say that while Muhammad was in Mecca, the Quran said good things about the Jews. In their book, which you say is the Hebrew Scriptures, again, you showed ignorance for Islamic theology, nowhere is the term Hebrew Scriptures or the Bible used in, or the Holy Bible used in the Quran. It's the law it's referring to. You said that Muhammad's referencing the entire Old Testament, the entire Hebrew Scriptures. You're wrong. It's just the Torah. And then you say, but when he got to Medina, it was all these hateful verses. That's funny, because in Surah 2, Ayah 62, it mentions good things about the Jews. That was revealed in Medina. Surah 5 was revealed in Medina. There were many verses that were revealed in Medina that did say good things about the Jews. It starts talking about specific Jews and specific hypocrites that are portraying the Medina covenant, but of course you didn't mention it now, did you? You then say that his companions forced, converted, enslaved, or slaughtered most of the Judaized Arabs and Christians. Again, I want sources for that. Don't just make a statement like that unless you're willing to back it up, especially generalized statements like that. You say the Judaized and Christian Arabs, and this is where you shoot yourself in the foot. I just want to point this out. This is where you shoot yourself in the foot, because you just gave, this is the thing, you started out your video by giving a definition for anti-Semitism, which you hijacked from Wikipedia. Anti-Semitism is hate directly against Jews, the Jewish people. As it said, you might think it means all Semitic people, but it means the Jews. This is where you shoot yourself in the foot by saying that, quote, the Judaized Christian Arabs converted were ethnic Semitic Arabs. So they really were not Jews. They converted, like you said yourself, to Judaism and Christianity. But they were Arabs. They were not actually Jews. So Muhammad was truly not an anti-Semite. Him being a Semite himself, meaning an Arab, but the people who he was fighting, these Judaized Arabs, were not themselves Jews. They were converts, which means that he was no way anti-Semitic. Thank you. You shot yourself in the foot. You then say the pagans settled their differences by single combat, not by attacking in hordes. Really? Then how can you explain when they attacked Medina in the Battle of Bidr, Uhud, and the Trench? Was that just by single combat? No, that was actually with armies. You say Muhammad instructed his followers to observe Yom Kippur, which they call Ashura, and face Jerusalem when praying, but you give no explanation for this except that they wanted to be like the Jews, or look good in front of the Jews, the Judaized Arabs. Again, the reason why they observed Ashura or Yom Kippur is because they realized that this was a holiday that commemorated Moses and the freeing of the children of Israel. And they wanted to celebrate this as well. They faced Jerusalem, and according to the Hadith, they faced Jerusalem because the Kaaba was full of idols, and because of Muhammad's night journey, he felt very connected to that area as a sacred area to pray towards, whereas the Kaaba at that point represented idolatry, and they felt like the pure monotheism, the pure Qibla was Jerusalem. But we'll get to why he changed that later in a second. You say never take the scholars of Islam for granted, but to listen to what they say and then do your own research. I agree with that. I mean, if you hear anybody, I include myself included, and in Ahmad's Quran 3, you hear anything that him and I say, do your own research, of course. But I would never say don't take the Islamic scholars for granted, because he has this theme of setting up animosity or conspiracy theory against the Islamic scholars. You say that Muhammad became the pirate of the desert, pillaging. Listen to what he says. Pillaging, slaughtering, enslaving pagan Arabs. Again, give your references. You said Muhammad wanted the Jews to convert. You're right, he did invite them to Islam. He invited many people to Islam, and many of them converted. We have record that many Jews converted to Islam. You said the Jews pointed out issues with the Quran. Really? Show proof. He says Muhammad tried to get the followers to think he was the promised Messiah of the Jews and the Christians. Really? Did he really say that? Come on. Come on, Ahmad's Quran 3. Come on. You know he didn't do that. There is not a single statement in Ibn Asaq, the Quran, or the Hadith that say that Muhammad told his followers that he was the promised Messiah of the Jews and the Christians. Why? Because the Quran calls Jesus the promised Messiah. Oops. Come on. At this point, how can anyone take you seriously? At this point. So then he says, so he hated the Jews because they were exposing him theologically. Really? Show your proof. He says Muhammad changed the direction to the Kaaba, to the Qibla, to the Kaaba, but he doesn't say why. Again, the reason for this is he did this right before they were going to take back Mecca. So now it was the recognition that that is the house of God, pray towards that, and then, as a unified group, they were going to take back Mecca. And then you say they stopped fasting on Ashura, and then instead replaced it with Ramadan. Really? Again, it shows your ignorance of Islamic theology. Here's the secret, okay? Listen to this, everybody. Muslims still observe Ashura. Oh no. Does that mean Ahmad's Quran's wrong? Yes. Let's see. You said he received revelation allowing him to attack the Jews. Really? Actually, it was really political. You say he destroyed. You say he destroyed the 3 major Jewish tribes. Really? Nuh-uh. No. You're abusing history now. He told the first 2 tribes to leave the area because they betrayed the Medina Covenant. The third one, they betrayed the Medina Covenant. They helped the pagans. They fought against the Muslims during the Battle of the Trench. So their soldiers were executed, and I will give references for that. The Hadith say that. He did not destroy all 3 tribes, as you say. You then say that they slaughtered, plundered, enslaved, and raped the pagan Arabs. Really? Show your proof. You crack me up. As well as the pagan Christians. Really? Show your proof. You say chapter 16, you say watch your videos of chapter 16. Yeah, well, I'm going to post a link for my video as well where I refuted that video of yours, along with the one against the Christians. You say the Quran is against Jews and Christians. I refuted both your videos. I'll put those links in my comment or in my description section as well. You say the Quran hates all humans who are not Muslims. I'm sorry. At this point, I have to wonder where you're getting your resources from. The Quran says great things about all of humanity. And it says great things about the Jews and the Christians. It doesn't just hate all non-Muslims. Give me a break. Anyway, thank you for watching this enlightening video, I hope, as it was. Peace be with you all.